back to the Walking with Wanzuu podcast. I'm your host, Yvette Wanzuu. How are you? How have you been? How has life been treating you? It's been treating you good? Tough times? Sending you hugs and love nonetheless. This is a safe space that I have created for us to be able to talk about all things life, and I draw from my own personal life experiences, some of the good, the bad, and some of the very laughable ones. This is me just giving you a tiny little sneak peek of what goes on in my head and in my heart, if you will. Thank you so much for tuning in. Happy listening. Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back to the podcast. How are you? How have you been doing? I hope life has been treating you good. Life has been kind to you. What is it? Happy Wednesday. As I record this, it is a Wednesday evening. Actually, it's Wednesday night. It's been a hot minute since I dropped something on here. Guys, life has been living. It's been busy. I traveled last week, and then I've still been trying to complete the last phases of the meal series, which I was doing in November. And so I managed to wrap up my last interview last week, and I'm so excited about that particular episode. So I thought while I work on that one, and then wrap up that particular series, why don't I do a bonus episode and kind of let you in on what's been going on with me, some of the thoughts that have been going on in my mind, and something in particular that I really want to share with you. I'll tell you something. I've noticed that the times when I come on here and truly, and that's not to say that I don't bear my heart, because I feel like this is a very raw and authentic space where I can just come on here and share with you guys some of the things that are going on with me, some of the thoughts that I've been having, with no fear and no judgment, and we can just encourage each other and learn from each other's experiences. Um, I noticed, with that being said, I noticed that the times when I come here and bare my heart and truly speak from some of the raw feelings that I have on things that I have going on, it really resonates with you people. Also, I don't know why my neighbors are really shouting in this moment. It is only when you pull out the mic to record that people be doing the most, that people be doing the most. But who are we? Who are we? Nobody can stop reggae. So here we are. How you guys? How have you been doing? It's December, guys. 2024 is literally almost 2 weeks shy. I want to say like 2.5 weeks, and we'll be in the start of a new year. And so, how are you feeling? Are you feeling that kind of anxiety of what have I achieved this year? Are you feeling the pressure of starting to think about your New Year's resolutions? How are you? Let me know what's going on with you. Summer bunny season, nitakuwa nikitoka US, have started jetting into the country, or flying in to the country. For those of you who do not use jets. And so, how you guys? Have you reconnected with some of them? Those of you who are in long distance relationships, has Bay landed yet? How are you feeling? How's that going for you? If you're in a season where you have been waiting all year to just be reconnected with your loved one, I'm celebrating with you, and I'm happy for you. Love and joy looks good on you, and I love that for you. I love that for you. 3 minutes on here just doing the intro and rambling, but it's always good to just get started by knowing how you guys are and how you've been doing. I've been doing great. I've been doing good. I'm enjoying my time. um I always take some time alone in December to just chill, kind of USA, decompress, try to think about what the year entails, what are some of the things that I can try and not carry into the new year. Also, just take time to reflect, talk to God, kind of speak into my life, see what I can put out into the universe, even as I channel good vibes to start the new year with. And so, December is usually one of the months in the year that I really look forward to. Really, wow, look at my Canva jeans coming through. That I really look forward to be honest, just to be able to have some time by myself, to myself, and just relax and chill. Also, now that we are for the streets, it's also a good time to just be out there dating. And so if you're single and you feel like you have something to offer, so you slide in my DMs and shoot your shots. Kwani ni kesho? That's me sipping my tea. So I want us to talk about something. I want us to talk about shame. Shame is something that a lot of us shy away from because it's not an emotion or a feeling that we like to feel. It's actually a negative emotion. However, it can work for your benefit, although navigating it and going through it is always not a very pleasant experience. So just like every other episode, as we unpack certain things, I'll start by defining what shame is. The first definition I'm going to give you is shame is a painful feeling that's a mix of regret, self hate, and dishonor. Shame is a painful feeling that's a mix of regret, self hate, and dishonor. And you can see as I unpack this particular feeling, a lot of things come to play, a lot of negative emotions. We have regret. Regret is always, I wish, man, if only. Self-hate, which is terrible, guys. Self-hate is a huge thing that a lot of people struggle with. Some are aware and some are usually not even aware that they are, they have feelings of self-hate, whether it bubbles under. And one of the things about self-hate is usually, even if you try to conceal it and try to convince everyone around you that you do not, you're not struggling with feelings of self-hate, as you interact with people and as you go through your day-to-day life, it has a way of coming into the surface and showing. And then there's dishonor. Another definition I want to give you of shame is an unpleasant, self-conscious emotion often associated with negative self-evaluation, motivation to quit, and feelings of pain, exposure, distrust, powerlessness, and worthlessness. Shame is an unpleasant, self conscious emotion often associated with negative self evaluation, motivation to quit, and feelings of pain, exposure, distrust, powerlessness, and worthlessness. Again, so many things here, so many negative emotions come to play. One thing that I needed to know is shame sometimes occurs as a result of feeling incredibly self conscious. I know personally, as a person who's heavy, and struggles a lot with self judgment, that this is a feeling that I often wrestle with. When you're self conscious, you tend to be hyper aware, hyper alert. And so, even when people are not necessarily telling you things, you tell it to yourself first. Um, and so shame can is a self-conscious emotion. It also occurs as a result of self-evaluation. I don't know about you, but I evaluate myself a lot. How did I do on that job? How am I doing this in this relationship? How am I doing at home? How am I parenting? How am I just doing by just being me, just showing up as Wanzuu? Am I killing it? Am I doing things that are detrimental to the brand? Yeah, so I think and then it also comes as a result of exposure, feeling exposed. um Maybe it could be something that you did behind closed doors and no one was seeing you and you thought you were getting away with it. And now you're exposed, and as a result it would be something that you did that you're necessarily not very proud of. And now that you feel that you're exposed and a lot of people are aware of that particular thing, then shame comes to play. It could also occur as a result of distrust and also making you feel powerless. There's something that's to be said about shame, that it kind of like takes away your power. And so you feel powerless. And the one that breaks my heart, even as I say this, is it also brings about feelings of worthlessness. When you grapple with feelings of worthlessness, it really eats at your soul. You can never quite feel like you're worthy of anything. You feel like you're not worthy of love. You feel like you're not worthy of good opportunities. And even in the most dire of circumstances, you feel like you're not even worth to be living. So feelings of worthlessness are very difficult feelings to be able to navigate and to deal with. So, shame shows an indication. and a wish for events to unfold differently. Most of the time, when you're dealing with shame, you always feel like, oh man, I wish things would have unfolded differently. I wish things would have gone down differently. I wish I would have done something. I wish I would have moved differently. I wish I would have done that differently. And so there's a lot of regret that comes to play. You often try to replay scenarios in your head and think, oh man, if I would have done this differently, if I would have moved around this differently, perhaps it would have been different. Like the results would have been different. But here we are. This is what you're dealing with. What are some of the things that cause shame? The first thing and the main thing that comes to mind that causes shame is shame can be caused by making a choice that does not align with one's values or that causes harm. I feel like every day in life is a choice. Every day is a choice. Every day we are constantly making a choice. Do I want to have black tea? Do I want to have coffee? Do I want to have milk tea? Do I want to wake up early? Do I want to snooze my alarm? Do I even want to wake up at all or call in sick to work or to school or whatever? Um, when you wake up, it's a choice. If you're in a relationship, if you're with your partner, if you're married, you make a choice to love your partner. You make a choice to be with them. You make a choice to be exclusive with them. So everything in life just boils down to decisions. And sometimes you make a certain choice that breeds certain repercussions that are usually not the best. And so as a result, you deal with feelings of shame because things, as a result of your actions, they might affect someone. Your actions can make someone, they can hurt someone. Your actions can, what do I want to say? As a result of your actions, some of the things that we do can hurt someone. I'll put in a good example. You could have lied to someone that you really love. You could have, perhaps if you're in a romantic relationships, you might have cheated on your partner. That's not a good thing. Nobody wants to be cheated on. Nobody wants to make decisions that hurt their loved ones. And so sometimes, as a result of our decisions, as a result of our choices, some of the choices that we make, we can end up hurting people, or the result of our decisions can be so bad that we just feel, "Ah, I wish I would have done differently." And so that makes us grapple with feelings of shame. Now, the self critical internal judgments can leave many feeling inadequate or unworthy of being loved. I know for a fact that there are certain things that I have done in my life, even over the course of this year. Yeah, because where do we begin? Where do we begin? I have, if there's a feeling that I have really struggled with this year, is shame and regret. Um, I'll give you a good example. I have a couple. I know that there are times when I have really struggled with my mental health. There are days that you wake up. I struggle from severe premenstrual symptoms just before my period. There are times when I feel incredibly low. I can't even describe it. Very emotional. Sometimes there have been times where I have also struggled with my physical weight. There are times, my physical health rather. On numerous occasions this year, when I've been going to hospital while I'm unwell, the doctor has raised major concerns about my weight. I have been underweight for a hot minute, and just um so there are times when I'm just not feeling my best, right? I had lost my train of thought for a moment there. So there are times when I have been navigating through life and my responsibilities and not feeling my best. And so as a result of that, sometimes in the nature of my job is that I get to interact with a lot of people, and I work in management, meaning sometimes I deal with very sensitive information. Sometimes I need to relay certain things in good time so that payments are made and stuff like that. And so there have been occasions where I have dropped the ball. There have been occasions where I know I need to do something. Perhaps when I interact with someone, they are rude or they just do something that really turns me off. And I'm aware of the fact that this task needs to be done and this is what is at stake. And I'll push it, I'll either procrastinate or I'll just decide I'm not doing this. And as a result, sometimes certain things have happened that shouldn't have happened. I remember there was a time I really got into it with my boss, and she was not happy, and I could just see from the events, the way the events had unfolded. Of course, I had also contributed, like I had a part to play in whatever it is that went down. And I just remember having a conversation with her, and she was, she was just communicating her displeasure and how she was not happy and how she felt like things would have been handled differently. And I remember walking out of that particular meeting and feeling ashamed, because nobody wants to come in. You leave your house, you have a full face of makeup, you're looking cute, and then just come at work and do nothing. And in that moment, I hadn't communicated that, man. And of course, you shouldn't let your personal life interfere with work, but at times when it's kind of inevitable. And so I hadn't communicated that, I'm struggling with this, or I won't be able to do this. And so she just felt like on my part it was just laxity, and it was just me not doing what I needed to do. And I just remember after that interaction, after being called in for that meeting, feeling so ashamed. I was feeling so ashamed. I just remember thinking, maybe I'm not even supposed to be here. Maybe I don't ever even do it. I can't even do anything right. I just I even now as I discuss it, I remember going back into that moment and just thinking, Wanzuu, you can never get anything done right. Now look at you. Um, and I really struggled with feelings of shame, and even for the next couple of days, and couple of weeks. And so even as this year was going on, I remember just putting in small structures in place to just ensure, even if life is just is really kicking my ass, I do the best that I can at work and just get what I need to get done. Another instance where I really struggled with feelings of shame was I have been in a number of I've been seeing some people. I've been out there. I've been in the streets trying to sample and see what's up. I am a hopeless romantic. I've never shied away from saying that, and I want to believe that despite the way just Nairobi is always Nairobi, and people, character development is a thing. I have never stopped believing that there is someone for everyone, and I know my person is out there. I don't know if I've met them yet. I don't know if I'm yet to meet them, but I've always been such a lover of love and a huge romantic. And so the instances where love has presented itself, I have been open to it and I have embraced it a lot more this year than I have in the last couple of years. And so I remember I was in a scenario where I was seeing someone, and this person was not being very honest about the number of people they were engaging. And so I kind of caught them in a situation that wasn't very pleasant. And when you discover that your significant other is cheating, you grapple with so many emotions. I remember feeling hurt because I honesty is something that I really value. I like to be told the truth, however ugly it is, because the truth is rarely beautiful anyway. But it's always better to deal with things from a point of honesty and truth than to be left in just being living in the Lulu world and things are happening and you don't know. And so in that particular moment, I remember being hurt. I remember feeling hurt to the core. I was, guys, I think the only feeling I can be able to tell you is I was gutted. And I'm even still recovering, even right now as I talk to you about it. So that now, Sasa, see, it's water under the bridge. Now we can laugh. I was gutted to the core, but I also remember grappling with feelings of shame that I had allowed myself to be in that particular situation. Shame, feeling ashamed because I had seen a number of red flags, I had seen a number of warnings, and chosen to sweep them under the rug, and chosen to just keep believing and pursuing the best of what I thought that that particular relationship would offer. And I really struggled with feelings of shame. And even every time I kind of relive that experience and how it went down and whatever happened, I really, really struggle with feelings of shame. I can't believe I allowed myself to, I can't believe I allowed someone to do that to me. Yeah. And so those are some of the instances where I have struggled with shame. I know there are times when in parenting I have dropped the ball. Perhaps I promised my daughter to do something and I wasn't able to deliver. And I just feel, you feel ashamed. You just feel like, yes, what is that? And yeah, so that I don't know about you, but those are some of the instances that I have struggled um, with this particular feeling of shame. And so we've identified what shame is, we've identified the emotions that normally come behind shame. And so now I want us to try and unpack how it is that we can deal with feelings of shame and try and see if you can get on the other side. One thing that I want us to be clear about from the onset is shame is inevitable. Okay, we have I don't it's okay, you're cute, you know how to carry yourself, we appreciate you, love that for you. But at every point in our lives, you could be the president, you could be Miss Kenya, you could be the best footballer that ever lived on earth. You could be someone's champion, you could be someone's heartbeat, but at some point, you have definitely struggled with feelings of shame. So, what are some of the things that we can do to be able to deal with shame, or try and just navigate it and go through it? Shame, just like any other feeling, is something that if you suppress, it will bottle up, and when it explodes, it won't be the best scenario. And so, just like every other emotion, both good and bad, the one thing I would encourage you to do is to allow yourself to go through it. And going through things is never easy, guys. But one thing about allowing yourself to go through experiences and go through the emotions that you experience, whether it's good or bad, is it builds you. First of all, it builds your character. Second of all, it allows you to navigate it so that once you get onto the other side, you don't have to keep going through it and you don't have to keep postponing that feeling. Because when you postpone feelings of shame, when you postpone feelings of pain, they will always come back to catch up with you. So you might as well allow yourself to go through it and then find yourself on the other side. So the first thing you can do is allow yourself to go through it. The second thing is be aware of how you talk to yourself. Yo. I cannot emphasize this enough. Before you learn to rock with anyone, please rock with yourself first. Be kind to yourself. Love on yourself. Please be very aware of how you talk to yourself. There's something called it. It is normally that still small voice that normally talks to you in your head. And I want you to be very cautious and very conscious of that voice. And make sure that every time you talk to yourself, as much as you can, talk to yourself nicely. Be kind to yourself. Be respectful to yourself. Extend love to yourself. Love on yourself. You cannot give what you do not have. And so every time you have a conversation with yourself, when you're having that internal dialogue, or is it monologue, please talk to yourself nicely. Respect to yourself. Respect yourself. Put some respect on yourself. Yeah. The second thing is have compassion for yourself. Actually, we are human. We are all human, spiritual beings on a human journey. And so there are times when you will drop the ball. There are times when you will do things that you're not proud of. There are times that you'll put yourself in situations where things will happen to you and you just ask yourself, wouldn't I have avoided that? And so when those particular incidences happen, please extend yourself grace. Have compassion for yourself. Remember that everyone has flaws and makes mistakes. The third thing I would say is practice mindfulness, whatever that looks like for you. Learn to be mindful. Sometimes learn to just shut out the noise and feed the human within. The way life is structured is we are always required to give so much of ourselves. In your career, give of your intellectual capabilities. at work, in parenting, be a parent, give of yourself, love, give the money, handle your responsibilities. A lot of life requires us to give of ourselves. So how do we nourish our spirits? How do we nourish ourselves? How do you nourish the human within, that person who no one else has access to but you and God? So I want you, whatever it looks like for you, it means carving out time to pray, carving out time to meditate. If it means just sitting in the shower, if it means finding something small that nourishes that human within, that person within, please find it. Practice mindfulness. Learn to be still. Chaos in life no dey finish. It will never end. It is up to you to carve out time to be able to just nourish that human within, so that when you show up in different capacities, or even when you're not showing up at all, you're okay. And you've nourished yourself first. You've filled your cup first. And then now you can go out and show out and do the most. Um, the second thing is recognize the fourth thing, or is this the fifth? The other thing is recognize when you're feeling shame. And this boils down to self-awareness. I know shame can manifest in very different ways. Sometimes when you're ashamed, you lash out. Sometimes when you're ashamed, you mask it with being cocky or whatever. There's so many ways that we kind of mask the feeling of shame, because sometimes it's so hard to just say, "Aki man, I'm just feeling ashamed. Me, I'm just ashamed." It can be hard to admit, and it can be hard to call out, even to your own self. And so learn to recognize when you're experiencing feelings of shame, because when you recognize it, when you can call it out, then now you can be able to deal with it. Another thing is take back your power. Take back your power. One thing people will do is learn how you treat yourself, and then they come back and play that out and reflect that to you. So you teach people how to treat you. And sometimes when you do things or make certain decisions that are not the best, people will have opinions. People will even come at you. People will attack you. But you need to own your story, whatever it is. If it's something that you did, you've acknowledged it, you've recognized it, own your story. Imagine you can't shame the shameless. And I know you've had people say this a lot. I personally have been embracing this particular philosophy for a hot minute now. You can't shame the shameless. You cannot. You can't shame the shameless. Own your story, whatever it is. If something happened, some consequences have been had as a result of your actions, own it. Sawa, who did it? It's you who did it. Who suffered the repercussions? Perhaps someone else. What do you do about it? Um, Apologize, acknowledge your mistake. Just own it. It's you, it's your story. And once you own it, nobody can shame you, because you can't shame the shameless. Okay, now I've done it, I've owned it, it was me. So please take back your power, whatever that looks like for you. And last but not least, please seek support. Please seek support. If you have a friend that you can talk to, reach out to them, talk to them. If you can seek the services of a counselor or a psychologist, or just a health professional who can help you with your mental health, please do that. I've always not shied away from sharing some free resources that you can always be able to get. I'm sure if you're online you've seen them as well. There's normally a Red Cross number that you can be able to call, and you can be able to talk to as a trained healthcare professional that can be able to help you, even as you grapple with your mental health. The toll free line for Red Cross is usually 1199, and it's 24-hour free tele counseling, and it's totally free, guys. So if you're struggling with feelings of shame, if you're struggling with navigating it, please reach out to someone, let them help you. If it's in church, you can always talk to your pastor. You can always talk to Bible study group members or leaders. You can talk to your prayer partner. Please reach out to someone and get help. And I also just want to let you know that I am always very open to be able to lend a helping ear and a listening ear, and just to try and just navigate and do this life with you. And so you can always shoot me a DM on Walking with Wanzuu podcast on Instagram, and I'll reply. For anybody who normally just seeks some kind of support or is in a situation where they're struggling, anytime they reach out, I'm always more than happy to reach back and try and help you to the best of my ability, or refer you to a resource where you can get help. Life is too hard to go through it alone. Let's just do life together. But more so, I want to let you know that if you're struggling with feelings of shame, it is normal, and you'll be okay. You'll be just fine. I'm sending you love and hugs. I will see you on the next one. Enjoy your Christmas holidays. I'll see you soon. Bye bye. Thank you so much for tuning in. What's some of the things that we discussed on today's episode that you really resonated with? Perhaps you even have a similar story or something that really tickled you. I would love to get your feedback. You can find me on Instagram at the Walking with Wanzuu podcast. You can also find me on Gmail. You can write me an email, tewanzuu@gmail.com. Better yet, you can leave a note if you're listening on Spotify or any other streaming platform, and let me know whatever spoke to you during this particular episode. Life is too hard to go through it alone. Let's just do life together. Amma, until next time, bye bye.